Thank you again, members, guests, and distinguished presidents.
Steve, 5 minutes, great.
All right, this is the setting, everybody. Is everybody paying attention? I'm writing a book, and I got this idea from Tanya DeGenova to get up and talk about the book that I'm writing. And the book is a trilogy, so it's really 3 books. And the trilogy is, the title of the book, the trilogy is Boot Camp Toastmasters, how do you like that? And Scripture Study, or Torah Study. Routines for the body, mind, and soul. I mean, if you do Toastmasters, it's going to be good for your mind. If you do boot camp, it's going to be good for your body. And if you study the Torah, the Scriptures, it's going to be good for your soul. So I've been doing that, all 3 of these things for the last, different boot camp for 2 years, Toastmasters for about 3 months. But I plan on keep doing it. Now, the only book that's written in my head is the boot camp one. And the other ones are written too, but so now the setting is that this is going to be the late night show. I guess Jay Leno's not on there anymore. I didn't know that, but in any case, pretend that I'm going to be interviewed by Jay Leno or what is it? Conan O'Brien. Okay. I used to go to bed early, obviously, because I go to boot camp 5:45 in the morning. So pretend, or we're going to do a simulation that I'm on the show and you're talking, but you're going to be Conan O'Brien, and you're going to be asking me about my book. Now, conveniently, I have the chapter titles here that I'm going to in this handout, and I'm going to give you. And I don't know if I printed up enough, but you can read it. And what I'm going to do is give it to you, and then I'll call on you, and you'll say, okay, talk about stretching, or talk about transparency, or whatever, because I'll talk about the topics, and then when you hold up the green card, I'll know that I better get to my summary, or maybe the red card, or no, the yellow card. He's got the timer over there. Here's the handout. You got the... Sure. Thank you, Jay. I'll call you Connor.
Good. Do you want me to help you pass them out?
Yeah, sure. I might have enough. There you go. I just pass them along. All right.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Now, before I
You gotta share. You gotta jump on.
call upon you or you volunteer for me to talk about, I'll just give you a little background. First of all, I was going to title the book The Memoirs of a Workaholic, but I figured that would remind you of the Memoirs of a Geisha, so I figured forget it. But in any case, because I used to practice 6 days a week, 8 to 10, 12 hours a day, and so now I'm practicing 5 days a week, and so I have weekends available, and so I started all these little projects. But when my mother came to Thanksgiving 2.5 years ago, she looked at me and I took my sport jacket off. She says, "You're fat." And I was weighing 186 pounds. And she took out the South Beach Diet book. And so I've been studying the glycemic index and eating proteins and the food chain and all that stuff. And I've read Michael Pollan's book, In Defense of Food, and the other one that he wrote, The Dilemma. I listened to him audio, but in any case, and that was another speech that I gave. But in any case, when I went to my physician, then I started with boot camp. And boot camp is at the YMCA, 5:45 in the morning, 3 mornings a week. And we do running, calisthenics, crunches. They don't do sit-ups. They do what they call crunches. I never even, anyway. And we're doing that for 3 mornings a week for the last 2 years. That's 150 times a year if you do the math. That's 300 hours of exercise that I never got in my life ever. So One other thing. So now I weigh 162 pounds. So I lost 25 pounds, and I run on the scale, and I cheer every time I look at it. But in any case, so this is the body part. Then we could talk about at another time the mind, which is Toastmasters. But that's another part of the trilogy. I have to be here longer. Now, with that as a background, we have a few minutes left for you, Jay Leno or Conan O'Brien or David Letterman. You want to pretend that I'm sitting at the talk show, and you're going to ask me questions about my book. Go ahead. Who would like? You can just pick. You can ask me also about from the chapter, or you can ask me from the dedications. I have several people I'm dedicating the book to, and I'm co-authoring it with my trainer. Go ahead. We have one. Yes, Jay.
Would you talk about transparency, thinking less while running?
Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay, now this is vocal variety, by the way. Okay, here I am. The first time I went out to boot camp, the first time I showed up, they said we're going to go from the Marblehead Old YMCA, which is a natural grand bank, and run all the way to Devereaux Beach, which was like a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile. And I said, okay. And I'm running. My son would do it, and I got to to the pizza place, which was like a block away. And I was like out of breath. I mean, I said, I can't believe it. But I stuck with it. And then when I was able, the next time they went running there, I ran maybe 2 blocks. And the next time they did, because it wasn't all running, but then the next time, even when I was running, I was saying, oh, when is this going to be over? Am I doing this? Is crazy? So transparency is, like now it's 2 years later, transparency, you gradually get to the point where you're going along doing exercises, and you're not thinking about it. You can just do it. You're thinking about writing the book. I wrote one of the chapters in my head when I was running. So that's transparency.
Right.
Another one. It's red. But you might as well keep going. This is fun. Go ahead.
Dedications. Joe, shaved legs and chest hair.
That one is a little sensitive. Okay, this is what happened. My legs happened to be, because I was a workaholic, I don't have a lot of hair on my legs, right? But I wear shorts in the summertime, and I don't have a lot of hair on my legs. So this guy, Joe, he's kind of a wise guy, and he, when I run, I gotta wear shorts because if they're long, I get all tangled up. So he says, "What do you shave your legs?" And he keeps making jokes about it, right? So one time last summer, we got to the beach. Devereaux Beach, and we had to run those poles. They have the poles there, and so you jog from one pole, then you sprint to the next one, you jog to the next one. So we got sweaty. So he took his shirt off. And there's mostly women in this thing. I wasn't going to take my shirt off. But he took his shirt off, and then he made it, and I'm not a wise guy with people. I don't know. He came over to me and said, because I had the short shorts on, right? It was the summertime. He said, "Will you shave your legs?" I said, "Would you shave your chest?" I lifted my shirt up because I have a hairy chest. That's what I mean. But the reason that I put this in there is because it's an all-around adventure, this boot camp. It's in the morning. You don't do the same thing twice. Next question. Should I quit? One more question. 3. I was going to do 3. Go ahead.
David Letterman.
David Letterman. Go ahead.
All right. I would like to ask you, tell us about the Bikram Yoga 26 postures, because I have tried yoga. Okay. At the same time, I have 3 sons, so I did Bikram Yoga, which is also in Swampscott, and that's in a room which is 10 degrees, and you have to do 26 postures when you go there for an hour and a half, and you sweat. You sweat so much that there's a puddle, your towel is totally soaked. The thing is that when you do the 26 postures, the advantage of it is every time you go different types of yoga, they do something different all the time. But when you do 26 different ones, every time you perfect your not that I'm any good at it, but you perfect it. But when you go to boot camp, it's different every single time. When we did something this morning, I don't know what they're going to do the next time. And the adventure is on the one hand, I admire the fact that I got better at doing some of the postures because you did the same ones over and over. So it's both at the same time. So boot camp
is for your body. Uh-oh. I lost my voice. I'm supposed to have vocal variety. This is vocal variety. Pitch, rate, time, pause. Mr. Toastmaster, in summary, my summary is, would you buy my book? And when it comes out in about 2 years, I mean, would you, based on that, if I was on the Jay Leno show?
Thank you, Jeff. I don't have a hairy chest. I just thought I'd share that with everybody.